Good morning from Idaho, or good afternoon. It's a sunny day, 60. The wind's blowing at 35 miles an hour, which is typical Idaho weather. But what we're going to do today, since it's going to start raining Monday, is do a last walk around on the Alpine, making sure that it's ready for winter time. And what we're going to I've already winterized it, so I'm not going to cover the winterizing of the plumbing system. I think there's enough videos out there for all of that surely you can find what you need. And so as you can see, my Alpine's plugged in here at the house. We're using a 15 amp service, which is more than adequate for what I want for the Alpine. And I've been maintaining the Alpine batteries this way for 8 years with this particular Alpine. So a 15 amps service on an outside outlet is more than enough. The electric water heater is turned off, of course, and the only thing that's on inside the Alpine is the microwave LED is lit up, and the smoke detector, of course, is hardwired to the battery, so it's powered up. And probably a little bit of residual power going to the TV set, the Bose sound system, and things like that. But that's very minimal current draw. But just because it's plugged into shore power, and we assume the converter's working and all, that doesn't really mean anything. And assumption is the mother of all screw-ups in my book. So what we're going to do is take a quick voltage check. I've already serviced these batteries. They're 6 years old now, and I'm going to replace them next spring with two more. They're from Costco. They're GC2s, and we've serviced these up with distilled water, and you can probably see the electrolyte level in there. The terminals are nice and clean. The connections are tight on both batteries, but they're 6 years old, so we'll replace them next spring. Right now the price on them is 98 bucks a piece, so that's a pretty good price for these batteries. Okay, so what I've done is hooked up my multimeter to the batteries, and you can see I've got the positive terminal of the meter hooked up to one battery, and the negative terminal of the meter hooked up to the negative post on the other battery that goes directly to chassis ground right back in here. And we can see that we've got 13.67 volts coming out of the converter, and so I know these two GC2 batteries are getting a good charge. They're not being overcharged. The electrolyte's not bubbling. We've been sitting here at the house now for about 7 days after our last trip to Yellowstone, and I know that the original OEM installed WIFCO 75 amp converter will maintain these batteries again through the winter time, and I won't have any overcharged batteries. Of course, I'll come out here about once every 2 months and take a quick look-see. I'll check the electrolyte level on both batteries and just take a quick look at the terminals to make sure nothing has gotten corroded or anything like that. But that's what I do. I make a quick check. It tells me we're getting a good charge on the batteries and they're being maintained, but they're not being overcharged. The next thing that I like to do on my Alpine, and I've done this for the 8 years I've owned it, you can see the exposed portion on all of the landing gear that are down. All 6 are down. They're on my at-home cheap ancient pieces of wood that I have. When we're out on the road, I've got some nice blocks that I built that raise up quite a bit higher than this, but here at home these do just fine. But what we're looking at is the exterior of these struts, and you can see, and so I've got a nice glob of motorcycle fork oil on here, and you can see that we're wiping it on, and we're going to leave a nice coating on here all the way around on this strut. And in my opinion, yes, it'll collect some dust, but I also know that that surface is protected, And in the spring, the first thing that I do before I retract these levelers to hook up to the truck or anything like that is I wipe them down again, clean them off, and then again I apply a little fork oil before I retract these pistons up into the assembly. And if you do this, even if you've got the newer Keystones with a Lippert system, and I'm not sure about the equalizer system, this strut area is an anodized gray color instead of the aluminum color that you see on my older Lippert. But after 8 years of doing the way I do it, I don't have any leaks. And being an old aircraft mechanic, working on landing gear with strut assemblies, I know that what I'm doing is right. So I'll pass that tip on to you, and what you choose to do with your Alpine is up to you. But if you do it the way I'm doing it, I think you're going to get some longevity out of those seals and stuff that you can't see that are up inside here. And speaking of seals, yes, there is a seal up underneath here on the bottom of this, right where my finger points at, and you can just barely see it, and all that is a wiper seal. Its purpose is to wipe off this crap that may or may not be on the exposed piston area. As far as sealing the 3000 psi of hydraulic pressure and fluid that's behind that, it does absolutely nothing. And we finished up putting the motorcycle fork oil on all 6 exposed cylinders, and so that will protect those surfaces for the upcoming winter that's soon to be upon us. Exterior wise, I don't cover my Alpine. Cover would be nice, I suppose, but after 8 years of sitting out here baking in the sun, she looks pretty good. She's got a little bit of fade on this stupid decal they put on the front. It's cracked a little bit, that decal, and they could have just left that stupid thing off of there and it would have been fine. The Alpine decal and the dark coloring still looks great. I use 303 protectant and wipe that down, and the awning is getting some wear, and I'll show you that here in a minute. I'm going to go up on the roof and take a look-see up there and see if the roof membrane needs any last-minute touch-up on self-leveling cement. Windows and everything, thank goodness, are in good shape, and I really feel sorry for the fellow that just had that brand new Alpine and had the shattered window on the first outing. That just really sucks. Hate to see that. Tire wise, what do I do with my tires? I cover them. That protects them from the UV. They're serviced at 105 psi. They're sitting right on the concrete, and that's the way these tires have been taken care of for 6 years that they've been on the Alpine. And they don't need to be on blocks of wood or rubber or any of that nonsense. They don't get flat spots. They're steel belted radials, so they don't develop flat spots. Backside of the Alpine looks good, and a little bit of some road dirt on the backside that we got coming home from the last trip. And if the weather gives me a break, I'll get the hose and the scrub brush out and clean that off before the real winter weather gets here. So what we'll do now is I'll go get my step ladder, and we'll put out here next to the install ladder. Yeah, I can just jump up on this ladder, but being the old fart that I am, I find a step ladder makes it a little easier, and then I can climb